Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Platformification of Banking panel at the 2020 Fintech Junction conference. My name is Odelia Torteman, and I cover Fintech and digital transformation at the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group and the world's largest financial development institution, focusing on investments within the private sector in emerging markets. And today we're going to discuss one of the main themes that are currently at the heart of the financial service industry, which refers to the shift towards a platform-based approach for financial institutions, both from the technological point of view, as well as from the business point of view. And in order to do so, we have a great panel of amazing speakers, which also represents an amazing display of women power. And I'm very happy to introduce you with my colleagues for the panel today. So why don't we start with a short, quick round of introduction. Meital, please take the lead.
Thank you, Odelia. So my name is Meital Raviv, and I'm the head of digital strategy and Fintech innovation at Hapoalim Israel. I have a lot of years experience in the Fintech finance industry, actually. I came former to Hapoalim, I was at KPMG, and before that at Bank Leumi in Israel. So, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Meital. Very happy to have us with us. Inbar, please.
Hi, thanks, Odelia. Happy to be here. So my name is Ilan Volansky. I'm head of Fintech and Innovation at Isracard, the largest credit card company in Israel. Before part of the bank Hapoalim, but already 1.5 years a public company. Former to that, I was in several Fintech companies, Fintech startups. So I think I have an interesting point of view for being in both sides of the platform. So a lot of insights about that.
Thank you, Inbar. Looking forward. Sigal, please.
Hi, thank you, Odelia. Happy to join the panel. So I'm working in Finastra for like more than 10 years, what used to be Fintech and D&H. Before that, I was in other Fintech companies, and in the current role, I'm actually managing the collaboration between Fintechs and our payment solution over the platform that Finastra launched last year called fusionfabric.cloud. So thank you.
Sigal. Looking forward to hear more about that platform at our panel now. So today, as I said, basically our panel is going to discuss the platformification of banking. And what we refer to under platformification of banking refers to the wider aspects of banking and financial institutions shifting towards, like I said, a platform-based approach. So from open banking initiatives to third parties entering the financial service industries to different platform players that are continuously to offer more and more services to the embedded finance concept to different marketplaces and to basically the continuous spot and emphasis of the new almost digital customer journey. Now, 2020, and together with the COVID crisis, has emphasized even more than before the importance of collaboration between third parties within the fintech ecosystem, the very importance of the collaborations between the regulators, the bank, as well as other tech players that are joining within. And basically, we've seen the expansion of different players that are offering all kinds of services, as well as new partnership models, for example, like Citi and Google launching new banking accounts, as well as other new services. And we're seeing more banks that are moving towards that aspect and embracing a platform-based approach on the sense of building more and more partnerships with different players. And Meital, maybe let's start with you. What are the main benefits for banks or for different financial institutions that are choosing to embrace the platform or the partnership model approach? And what is basically requested and required out of them in order to make it a successful shift?
Thank you, Odelia. It's a very interesting question, actually. As you mentioned, we are living in a new reality. I believe that 2020 changed the way we think. Although we were at this journey for a lot of years now, but I think that it requires us to change everything, starting from business model and ending from the way we approach the customers. I think it changes also the competition map in all the markets regarding the financial services for banks, for insurance, for credit card companies. But I think that the main, let's say the main conclusion that we can come to is the partnership model. And you asked what are the benefits. Once the regulator will understand that there should be a real competition and we are not as big banks or big financial services institution, we don't have like a secret things that we want to save for us, and we really want to be one of the competitors in the market. I think that this will be the time that will bring main benefits both for banks and for third parties. I believe in a competitive market. I think that it drives the market forward. I think that banks that want to survive and thrive will have to collaborate with third parties. I'm really a great believer in this model. I think that together 1 + 1 is more than 2, and we'll gain both from our experience and from the third party experience, which mainly is around technology, better data capabilities, and better services for our customers. So I think that for now, the most let's say the main barrier, as far as we can see, both in Israel, by the way, and abroad, are the regulators. So once they will open the market for real, we will see more and more collaborations, because it's really good for the market.
I agree. And when you say for that, Hassan, for regulators to open the market, you mean enabling the entrance of more players, lowering the barriers? What exactly are you referring to?
I think that there is a change in the regulator aspects, but they are still, let's say, they are still keeping the market close, relatively close, and they give the big banks, like we are more regulated than the fintechs. So we cannot invest, or we're investing a lot of money in this change. But in order to get something back, we have to, we are a business, you know, like everyone else. Although the regulator think otherwise, but we have to earn money for our investments. So I think that there are still ways to go. There is still way to go by the regulator. For now, they are keeping everything they're trying to keep safe the fintechs, and they're trying to give them to give them like a safe ground to play with. But we are not the bad guys here. We want the collaboration. We want the partnership. We want to make it better for our customers. But we need a business model for this, and we need to invest to get the ROI for everything we do. So for now, we are just investing money, and usually we don't get back for it anything.
Thank you. Inbar, your perception?
So I totally agree with Meital. I definitely see this cooperation as an advantage for both parties, and actually the best advantage is for the users. This competition is good for them. I think it will enable a lot better products for all of them. And this whole platformification is part of the Isracard's strategy. We understand that we are no longer just a credit card company, just an issuer and acquirer. And looking forward, our strategy is exactly that, to be a financial platform and to cooperate, either it's with our products or with third-party products. And I believe that the main benefit of this platform, the change of how we are thinking, is first of all in looking at the scale. Okay, so it's not only just a standalone project with each one of the third parties. The marginal cost of adding another partner is very low. So we can look at it as something that can really is very scalable. Okay, so this is an important benefit. And I think the other benefit would probably be the speed. So everything is very standard. It's quite easy. Everything is the documentation is very understandable. So, and looking at our company, it's also different kinds of partners. It's not only the fintechs, the high-notch partners. It can be a loyalty club, okay, or it can be another partner that's more low-tech. But everything is standard and understandable, and it happens fast, especially like you said in our times in this crazy year. Okay, so a good example is something that we launched recently, a new product called TikTok, which is for small businesses. We did it with a corporation of a fintech startup called Feedback. And this was exactly about this, the banking services, the Isracard services of the acquiring and with the businesses, together with the Feedback's ability for the great UX and to do everything digital and fast, and collaborating together enabled us to launch a product in less than 2 months, in the time that our business customers needed us the most. This product enables them to sell online. I'm talking about businesses that are very offline, which are usually, you know, the grocery stores, the small shops that don't have the ability to do an online site. And we managed to give this to the businesses and to help them through this rough time. And the timing here was so important. If it was a regular project, you know, a corporate together with another company, until we would finished it, it would be, you know, the end of the corona. So I think that's a good example that shows this great partnership.
Thank you for that. And you've really touched a very interesting point, and it's one of the leading use cases with regards to the open banking framework, which refers to the fact that either banks or credit card companies or financial institutions are holding the customer's data, becoming the de facto platforms, and are partnering with a very wide diversity of third-party solutions in order to offer a more holistic, basically, solution and customer journeys. And maybe, Sigal, from your experience spending 10 years in Finastra, what are you seeing? Which kind of other use cases are you seeing banks around the world utilizing the data that they have in order to offer new services vis-a-vis partnerships that they are signing with other partners?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, with regards to Meital and Inbar and what was said earlier, I fully agree. I am a very much believer in platformification. Just from regulation perspective, I agree, Inbar. Meital, because even when the regulation has started to look towards third-party providers and the collaboration with the banks, like the Payment Service Director, PSD2, even though we have the regulation, it's very, very slow to implement it. I mean, banks are still not taking it, and countries takes quite long to implement it. However, collaboration is our motto. That's why we launched the platform, collaborate to innovate. And this is where we see a lot of use cases. And I would say even more than that, I mean, there are services, let's say, that banks use to receive, which can now, they can receive it via the platform. Because the minute the fintech is joining the platform, it's already integrated. So in bar to what you said, instead of doing a long implementation, it will be slow to the time to market with the platform because it's pre-integrated. A fintech can connect to a bank in a matter of months, a few months rather than a year, for example. But we can see use cases as an example, you know, in payments market, there's cross-border requirements, whether it's remittance to be sent to home country or other transaction to be sent out. And we see now a lot of fintechs providing alternative ways for cross-border, much cheaper, much quick to get to the customer, and very important, very transparent, so that the customers know exactly what happens with the payment and when it will be arrived to the beneficiary. And when we talk to fintechs, we even find out use cases that we didn't think before. and even coming from third party that either provide, let's say, consolidation of dashboard to the corporate customers, and then they can connect to the banks using open API, different API available by Finastra products or APIs that they publish. So we definitely see the market going towards that. It may be more faster for smaller banks, and maybe in regions like US are probably more open than Europe towards platformification, but we see it's coming. It's a matter of just few years, I think, before everyone will start using it fully.
Thank you, Sigal. Thank you. And if we continue that, excuse me, go ahead.
I just want to add on Sigal, I think that Finastra is an example for a company that leveraged their infrastructure to create a new business model. They took it like to the end to offer new services and to give their customers like a wrap-up of services that they can use and they can offer to their customers. I think that this is an example for exactly a company that creates an infrastructure for banks to become a platform. So exactly. I really agree with Sigal, and I'm not doing any sales here, but
you can.
But the concept of this change is an example for, I think, for the industry to understand where it goes in the future.
Mm-hmm. Meital, it's exactly what you said. It's the wrapping up of the wrapping of the services. I think this is the key.
Yeah. And Meital, if you touch that, so let's go back again a bit to the solutions that Finastra has to offer and to the entire ideas of marketplaces. So the fusion fabric of Finastra, which works a little bit like the App Store, represents another example of a marketplace that exists in the field, as well as other sandboxes that exist cross globally, which basically dance and put together a number of fintech solutions, as well as different API generation integration solutions, and wrap it up as out-of-the-box solution. And my question is basically, how does this model of wrapping it up everything together influence banks, or I would say financial institutions that would like to innovate? Would you say that this helps them on the sense that it accelerates their speed, or would you say that it, to some extent at least, centralizes them to a specific line of thought, which is being dictated by the solutions that have been chosen, so to speak, for them?
So if you're asking me, I think it depends. It depends on the bank, on the size of the bank, and its footprint in the market. I think that the sandbox concept is helping the banks to be more efficient. It can create easy to use APIs for third parties collaboration. But it takes time to build this replicative infrastructure and environment for them to play with. But I believe that in the long term, it will be very efficient. It will be the best way to test new technologies and to understand whether it's good for our customers or whether it's irrelevant. I believe that this is the way to do partnerships and then to create more benefits for all sides.
Yeah. And Sigal, back to you, the Fabric Fusion initiative that you have launched, which I think represents an amazing, innovative example of how you wrapped up together a few solutions for FSI. Would you care to maybe share a little bit about the journey that Finastra took in order to reach that, and how do you today serve your clients with that?
Yeah, definitely. So it started with exactly to bring together fintechs or universities, people that come with idea, with the banks that in a way looking for innovation, but in order to start building it or finding the right solutions, here it brings to them in a way that it's in the store, and they can look and see how they can bring value to their customers, and actually especially in the market today, which is competitive, and there are more parties, that are more players in the market. It's very important to bring value added to the customers to create this stickiness. So we see that, for example, in US, where we have a solution which is a mobile app, enable like integration with mobile applications. So we can see a lot of fintechs that have really amazing use cases, whether it's like providing saving services, or whether ability to get information uploaded in a very automated and shortened way. Even Israeli fintechs have joined some of the products of Finastra, and now is being sold to the customers. We can talk about AIO, there's Prisco and others. So it actually enables to find use cases. And I can say that in the payment market, this is what we are doing. We are talking to fintechs and bring use cases that we even didn't think before, that brings something new to the payment value chain, something new that the banks can bring to the customers, can bring automation. So we can see a lot of interesting and important use cases that we can bring. And this is being sold to banks worldwide now.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Thank you for that, Sigal. Now, Inbar, maybe the next question will be for you, since you and I had a lot of discussions around that in the last 2 years at least. From a technology perspective, how drastic is the required shift that financial institution needs to make in order to move to an open API architecture?
First of all, I think it's what we always say, it's the difference of the state of mind, okay? So when you are thinking about it as a platform that needs to serve a lot of companies, it changes the way you look at it. You don't look at it, like I said before, don't look at it as a project. You look at it as a product, okay? So you have different line of products that can create a lot of different use cases, like Sigal said. So I think the first shift is the hardest, okay, in the way of thinking. But looking from a technology perspective, I think it makes it even easier when everything is standard, where everything needs to be, you know, documented like it needs to be done. You're adding, and I think it makes you work even, you know, even better. Okay, everything is very understandable. And I think that after you do the first big shift of how the company is operating, it makes it much easier.
I have to add, it's very drastic. It's like it causes a huge expenses in the banking industry. It's like changing everything we do. It's rebuild the bank infrastructure, and we can say, you know, we can be like very optimistic about it, but we cannot change the amount of monies that invested in this change all around the world.
Yeah, Meital is thinking about the ROI.
Of course.
I don't have much choice. No, but seriously, I think that looking on all the markets, okay, in Europe and in Asia and here in Israel actually also, I think that everyone understands that there is no other way. We have to do it. Even if in countries that the regulation is not a mandatory, banks are still going there because the market is changing. Right. So the change is very drastic for your question, but I think that there is no other option. We have to be there. We have, in order to stay relevant, we have to offer our services in that way. And in the long term, I really believe that it will be more efficient, as Inbar said, and it will cost less money than now. But for now, the expenses and the investment is very high.
I agree. Actually, I mean, Meital, I agree. You can see with our customers, there's a shift from traditional legacy ecosystem to a more service-oriented. Maybe before, if banks used to look for a solution, which will be tailor-made exactly to what they need, I think now they understand that they should pick up services and do it quick in order to be in the market and not miss any ability to be there in the front. So I agree.
Quick and not dirty, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should be like perfect.
Yeah, so maybe continuing that line of thought, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said here, and there are so many solutions and so many approaches nowadays in the market to move towards a serviceless architecture, towards a digital services-based architecture. And maybe Meital, based on your lessons learned from working both at Leumi, KPMG, and Hapoalim, do you have any insights you can share with some of our potential listeners that are currently just undergoing or starting their digital transformation journey toward that?
Sorry, the vacuum cleaner is here.
So the answer is no. That's actually a very good answer to how to start it.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I'm asking, whether do you have any lessons learned or best practices, or from your experience, given the fact that it is indeed such a drastic shift that requires the investment of a lot of resources, changing operational procedures, change management, and so on and so forth. Any tips or, again, lessons learned that you can share with some of our people that are maybe just starting this journey?
Yes, actually, I have a few tips. First of all, I think that it should be a management decision. I believe that if one wants to succeed in this journey, this is a journey, okay? It's not happens at once. It's taking time. I believe that it will take years to adapt this change. I think that banks are here and they are not going to disappear for at least a few years from now, maybe 10 years, maybe more. They will change. We will change the business model, we will change the way we think, and we will change the way we work. But I really think that once understand that we have to change these things, the management has to support the change. It should be cross-wide inside the organization, and mainly if this is a big organization like bank. I believe that this is a change that requires new talents, new skills in the company, and the new way of thinking. Like if we in the past we thought that it's like it was a journey with the fintechs. Like we thought that should partnership with them, but we will have to do like white label or maybe integrate with them inside our infrastructure, inside our assets. I think that now we understand that it's not that it's not like we don't have to be in our assets, digital assets. It can be also, you know, where the customers are. So we will have to be open to other initiatives, to other ideas. And in order to do so, we have to invest in the infrastructure. So I think that my main tips are, first, the management support. Second, the technology support. So they have to understand that the world is changing in all the aspects that related to this. And the third, of course, it's the business model that they will have to change.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Meital, for that. Now we've covered a bit more of the enterprise perspective of things and the architecture and the infrastructure. I want to touch a bit on the new customer journey. So recent years, and again, especially 2020, with personally, basically the entire digitization of customer services and the consumption of services has basically shifted the focus once again to the importance of the customer journey. And one of the most, I would say, innovative and basically trends that we're seeing is the embedded finance. Now, embedded finance basically refers to the seamless integration and provision of financial service within basically any non-financial institution that offers all kinds of business services to customers. For example, ride sharing, Lyft and Ubers and the other that have successfully integrated different kind of payment methods within their customer journey and their customer service that they're offering. And I'd like to hear from you maybe, what do you think we're expected to see under the field of embedded finance in other industries and in other service providers in the coming years?
I spoke a lot. I can answer.
All right, Inbar, maybe we'll hear you.
I think what will be interesting to see is just, first of all, new products, okay? If I'm talking from the user's point of view, it opens the market so much that maybe you are used to getting financial services from your financial companies, but now it's seamless in the product. So it enables a lot of new things that can happen now. And I think this is the real competition. This was exactly what the regulators are talking about, to open the market, to open to real competition, and to give the users the transparency, okay, that they need in order to create amazing journeys that don't need to, stop in all kinds of aspects that are financial and need to stop there. So I think if you trust the company that you are doing this journey with, it doesn't matter what's happening in the background. And I think it will open up to exciting new opportunities, like we're talking all the time, and cross borders between, different companies and things that we can do together. So I think it's definitely a big opportunity that everything is embedded inside.
Thank you. Meital, you want to add something?
Of course. Yeah. First of all, I totally agree with Inbar. I think that this is a great opportunity in one hand. In the other hand, I think that the infrastructure is not there yet. So if I'm looking like a use case like Shopify, let's say, it's a great use case for embedded finance, but I think that it's unique still. It's not, it's like the infrastructure for all the services, like for us to be embedded within everything the customer do, it's not that easy. We are very regulated industry. We have a lot of regulations, like what we can and what we cannot do inside our assets and outside. And I think that it can be like a great opportunity, both for the customers and for the industry, but I think it will take time. I think that banks eventually will become more and more back-end services and less front-end or customer-facing services, but like happens in other industries. But I think we have some years to go until we get there.
Odelia, what you mentioned, I think the Google Pay app was, and the cooperation with the bank, with Citi, I think it's the best example out there.
Clearly, I agree. Very curious. I think that still, unfortunately, the more dominant use case we're seeing is with the ride sharing, right, with Lyft and Uber. And I do agree with you, Meital, that infrastructure currently poses a very big challenge on the sense of developing other solutions on that. And I think that also we will see more in other, again, service providers which are non-FSI expanding and embracing the payment pillar within the customer journey that they offer their clients with. Now, another pillar I want to touch upon when we're talking about and we're speaking about basically platforms and the platformification of financial service is the as-a-service concept. So I think that in the last 5 years, we've seen this entire world booming, right? So from clouding as a service to storage as a service, banking as a service, CBS, core banking as a service. Now we even have lending as a service, KYC as a service.
Payment as a service.
Exactly. So I'm curious to learn from your experience, and again, based on each one of you with her very unique perspective, where do you think our industry is going? Are we expecting to see a world where financial services are going to be consumed, where each player is going to be a designated platform player that's going to provide the specific area of operation? Or are we, where is this whole direction of areas going?
So I can start, and that's maybe in continuation for what was said before. Like on one hand, I mean, I would say it's all connected. So like Meital say, it will take time because we need the mind shift or the state of mind change, that there's no more, we need to go out from traditional ecosystem. Okay, so we need to go out to services. And it's all connected to the customer journey, because the banks would like to provide an end-to-end customer journey, starting from the way they go in to banking software until they receive what they need. And for the fintechs, which I can see that this includes also services that if before it was kind of limited wrapped service, now they added more services in order to provide end-to-end customer journey. So I do see shift of the banks to a more service-oriented. As I said, we have payment as a service as well, that we have partnership with something that we go out to sell to our customers. But it will be more like a built-in closed services rather than tailored one that we used to see before. So there is a shift. We are going there. It will take a bit more time, but we will definitely be there.
Because if you think about it for a minute, you can basically have now newcomers that are offering banking services, and basically they do not own neither the banking software, neither the lending software, neither the payment software, not even the licensing, because currently there are companies that are facilitating the banking licensing.
Yeah.
So where are we going on that? I mean, who basically is providing us services and who is held accountable?
Exactly. Who is who? Yeah.
By the way, I think that on the way to innovation, we tend to forget that we are dealing with customers' money. And this is a very delicate issue. And I think that this is the reason why the regulator is so strict. And this is what will take time to understand how we can change the way we think about it. So it's not like, let's say, it's like telecommunication services. We are not like giving a number to call and a phone, and the customer can use it. This is the money. This is the customer's money we are dealing with, and we have to keep it. It took hundreds of years for banks to create these relationships with the customers and this trust. So I believe it will take some years for us to go back and give these assets to others. So,
but it's not to give the assets. I think it's totally about keeping the know-how and using this know-how. And I totally agree with what you said. It's not about, it takes so much expertise. People don't know it. It sounds, even for me, before I was in this financial environment, it sounds, okay, what's the big deal? But it's so hard, so regulated, so much know-how is needed for this kind of system. And I think keeping this know-how and being the expert on it and keeping it and giving, and with cooperation with other companies, giving it just, for them to do, like we said before, to give them to do what they know better, to do the UX, the journey, how to approach. So I don't think people will get this know-how. It's not easy at all. I don't think they are trying to. And I think the idea is to take this know-how together with the great user experience, and together to deliver the best product for the users.
Yeah, it depends on the service, actually. In the payments, it's more easy.
Always.
The customers are already blind to who gives them their service. They are going to the ones that it's easier for them. But I think that cheaper, also no fees at all for now. So I think that in the payments area, it's easier. I believe that, let's say, there will be some services that will have more barriers to be as a service, as you mentioned.
The core banking ones.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I think that all of you actually touched all the reasons that I think the financial services and the fintech, which basically made me fall in love in that industry, which basically in order to really create sustainable innovation, you need to take into consideration both the regulatory burden, the huge responsibility that you have in terms of holding people finance and people hardworking money, the entrance of new players, the customer journey, and of course the overall ecosystem that's continuously changing with the entrance of more and more technology players to the field. And I also think that it's only symbolic that we're summarizing this year now, 2 weeks before we're gonna finally be done with 2020 and enter 2021. So I'd love to hear your statements, each of you 2 words. Where do you see 2021 will take us from a fintech innovation perspective? Sigal, let's start with you.
First of all, there's a lot of excitement in this market and dealing with fintech and with this new collaboration to innovate, actually. I do see, mainly because of the need for digitalization. I didn't say it right yet, but okay. But we see a lot of moving towards that, whether it's digital banks. Customers now are looking to receive services without the need to, let's say, go to the bank. So we see a shift here. I think that it will actually, this COVID-19 caused us to get into receiving services, virtual services in a more easier way. And I see the shift of banks to open API and platformification probably faster than we thought so because of COVID-19.
Thank you, Sigal. Inbar, please.
Absolutely. I think this has been a crazy year. And I think one of the things that it showed us is that when things need to change fast, they change fast and we can do it. So it's a matter of decisions. It's a matter of changing how we look at things. So thinking ahead, I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think all the processes that we were talking about are going to move to the next level with open banking in Israel, with other things that are happening in the payment industry with the EMV and all the wallets. I think it's going to be a very exciting year, and I look ahead, especially for the Corona to end.
Thank you, Inbar. Meital, please.
Yeah, save me for last. I will try to keep it a few words as I can. I think it will be a year of partnerships and optimization of open banking all over the world. And I think that it will start with customer awareness. I'm not sure that the customers are there yet. The adoption is very low. And I think that this year we'll see more awareness in the market.
Thank you very much, Meital. And thank you all of you for joining me. Always a pleasure to be speaking with experts and especially with female colleagues. And I wish you all a great year and lots of health and keep on the fintech good work. Ciao, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.